appreciate your presence.
Hello, I'm Father Michael. Welcome to another episode of Church at Home.
I'm Father Joshua.
Father Estock here.
So we are looking forward to the 22nd Sunday of Ordinary Time.
That's right.
And we have our gospel is Jesus talking to some Pharisees where they're concerned about the way that how the apostles and disciples of Jesus were behaving, because the Pharisees had a very linear and focused understanding of their faith, and it was about doing all the right things in the right way. And so it was a very public kind of faith.
Particularly in ritual purity.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And so we have his kind of pulling the t-shirt, I call it pulling the t-shirt inside out. So he's taking something very familiar. I guess that's always the parables.
Mm-hmm.
But he's taking something very familiar and close to their hearts and minds, and that is their religious observance. And he is suggesting to them that they have it inside out, or at least they're manifesting an inside out understanding of religious practice. And what I mean by that is that we don't know what was in every Pharisee's heart, but we evidently Jesus knows. But we don't know that every Pharisee was with an empty heart approaching external religion.
Mm-hmm.
That would be harsh. But we could see that they didn't have any room in their observance of external religion for the internal.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so Jesus starts talking to them about, it's not, because the Jewish faith, right, it had this idea of defilement, that you could eat things and that they would defile you, and so then you wouldn't be able to worship with the rest of the people. You'd have to do a ritual cleansing. This is all this kind of stuff maybe we don't recognize in our modern world because it's so culturally different for us. But so it was a big deal. That's why, maybe you have Jewish friends who don't eat pork. Well, nowadays it's, kind of looked at as not a big deal anymore. But in that time, if they were to eat something that was unclean, they wouldn't be able to go worship. They wouldn't be able to go to the temple, to synagogue. They'd have to do a ritual cleansing before they were able to be part of the community again. So what Jesus is talking about was very serious for the time, even though it kind of maybe we glimpse past it because of our cultural differences now. And so Jesus is telling them, no, it's not the stuff you put in your body that makes you unclean. It's what you're allowing to grow there and come out of your body. The drunkenness and licentiousness and all these sins and behaviors and pride and all of those. That's what's giving you trouble. It's not what you're eating or drinking or how you're washing yourself. It's what you're allowing to grow in your heart.
Yeah. So, how is it that one would be, in Jesus' thinking, declared unclean? And it's a radical departure from, as Father said, what they religiously and culturally had come to believe and practice in the law of Moses. And we then went on to the conversation about the second reading, and in the first reading, that the notion of what is the effect, or what are the effect of external religion, because we've had quietism as a heresy in the church. That
he's doing all this studying because he's teaching a class, so now he knows all the heresies and he's got them all right at the top.
So these people thought that they didn't have to do anything externally in the practice of religion because they wanted to avoid this notion that we were accomplishing. So there's a work of religion. And with Protestantism and Lutheranism, it's the whole thing, is that we got the controversy between what is it our works or our faith. And so, we have the great Lutheran motto, in faith alone. And so this is the same conversation.
Yeah. And I love that you use the word works, because it is, if you know the root of the word liturgy, it means the work of the people. Right. What we do when we worship, when we're celebrating Mass, when we're praying together, that is the work that we're doing. That is what we are called to do. And so it's not just it's not the same kind of thing as like laboring. That's a different kind of thing. But work in the sense of us participating together in something.
And to the extent that we think we are accomplishing something, that really belongs to God. You know, it is God's work, Opus Dei. It's the work of God within us and among us. And so that's kind of, we got to the second reading, and we are challenged to, and the gospel text, we're challenged to maybe, I don't know, purify our attitude.
Yeah. Our intentions.
Right. To religion rather than, you know, the externals. And this is tough for Catholics because we are all about the externals. You know, genuflect here, hold your hands this way, you know, bless yourself this way, bow and then receive, say amen. So, I mean, we have books of rules on all of this stuff. So we can look to some people like Pharisees. I don't know, Father Michael, if you have run into this challenge, but...
Well, I have, and it is a nice distinction that has to be made when it comes to the Catholic externals between allowing those things to be a witness that reflect an internal reality or doing them just for show.
Yeah.
We have to be very careful that it's, as Jesus points out in the gospel, that what comes out of us, what comes up from within our hearts and out into the world through our words and through our actions, is good and holy and being done for the right reasons. And the Catholic externals should be, anyway, manifestations of what's in our heart, the faith that's in our heart, the belief that's in our heart, the desires for God that are in our heart, and not, they shouldn't be the reverse. They shouldn't be, I do all this outside so that it somehow makes me holy or somehow changes my heart.
That's right. Yeah, I could fix myself.
Right.
You know, the contemporary world, I think that is probably, you know, as far as New Ageism and many recovery and rehabilitation plans, I think we overburden people because they have no faith in many cases. They have no faith, so the burden is on them to fix themselves. You know, you have to work the program, you know, and if you are attempting to work the program of salvation without faith, then that's what we call Pharisaism, I would think. And so, but I think, and we're all tempted to it because, you know, God is mysterious, and walking the walk of faith is it's not so obvious. And the point of it is to grow our faith, not to fix ourselves. And sometimes I don't know.
What's the ultimate purpose of our faith?
Right,
it's not.
Right. It's like when I have a bad headache or something. I don't spend a lot of time sitting around thinking, well, why do I have a headache? You know, I just reach for the thing, the pills, and take care of it. That's a bit of Pharisaism, I would say.
Yeah, and I think what encapsulates both of what you're saying is James's key phrase in his letter today is that we should be doers of the word and not hearers only, because it teaches us that the focus is on the word. That's the difference. The Pharisees, their focus is on the doing, but when James is talking, he's talking about doing the word. It'd be doers of the word, not hearers only, because it's the word that dwells in our inmost being, Jesus himself, right, that becomes the key. And so that's the difference between the kind of doing that James is talking about and the kind of doing that the Pharisees want, is the word.
And how did the Pharisees get in trouble with Jesus? And they got this, in a sense, a little tongue lashing, is because, as James reminds us in other places, it's what if you are noticing another person's inadequacy, you are not being a doer of the word. You are becoming the judge
Yeah.
of it. And of course, this is again one of Jesus' strongest injunctions against judging others. And so, yeah, I think we probably have someplace to go.
Yeah, so we just need to, the key, I think, of all this is to let the word dwell in us and to allow the word to come out of us in action and in word.
And faith.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right. All right.
Amen.
God bless
Amen.
you all.
We'll
Have a
see
great
ya.
week.